All right, so let's go back to our virtue, failure needs forgiveness. Like somebody talk about what you wrote about. I understand.
Okay, so um, may I speak?
Yeah, that's good.
My goodness.
All
I
right.
just, I just, I just, I just think it's a little heavy to say that failure needs forgiveness. And I have, for myself, I try to say failure needs friendliness. I think we need to make friends with failure.
Anybody else would like to say uh, something about that? That's
Hi,
what you understand. I understand, right?
yes. Hi, Jersey. It's Margaret in Park City. And I wrote, I understand that failure needs forgiveness. Guilt can become like an anchor, which prevents you from being aware and prevents you from living in the present. But failure also needs analysis. What you find can do differently, what is beyond your control.
Okay. And somebody else?
I've got my hand up.
Okay.
Okay, this is what I came up with. I understand that when, not if, I experience a failure in my life, I must also allow myself the generosity and comfort of forgiveness to heal and move forward, ready to meet the next challenge with wisdom and certainty. I must not I must allow myself the same compassion, honesty, and clarity that I extend to those I cherish, love, and hold in high esteem without judgment.
Awesome. Very good. All right. Anybody else? Okay, I have a question for you guys. Is failure a good thing?
I think it is. This is me. May I speak?
All right. Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, when I talk to my students, I teach professionals, and I just say, make friends with your failure. That's just the way it has to be because it's part of the process. So, I mean, why a negative thing? No, it's part of the process. That's my feeling.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody else would like to comment on whether failure is a good thing?
From my experience, failure is a good thing, and it's how we learn. And as I've said before, I'm an instructor. So when people are making mistakes or failures, that's when I see their progress. So on a pottery wheel, failure is a very good thing. In life, I also believe it's a good thing.
Thank you. Janice, you wanted to say something?
I think failure has to do with just trying. You're trying something, and if it doesn't work, you try again. And then the part about I don't like my, forgiveness for me is a generous heart, and I have to also give that. I'm very generous to someone else, and I have to give that to myself. I think it's important to forgive yourself and love yourself. And it's brave to try something new. I think trying this and exercising every day by ourselves, this is we're using our discipline, and you're teaching us about choices. I'm going to be quiet, just rambling. Thanks.
Right. Anybody else?
Hi, Jersey. It's Amy. And everybody. I think it's neither good nor bad. I think it's unavoidable unless, like you said, we stop trying. So I think it's an indicator that someone is working toward growth, but it is definitely bad and it is definitely good if handled correctly.
All right. So, well, that's the after effect, right? how
Yeah.
we approach the failure, right? So we are talking about. Also, there is a failure when we try to do something good and improve ourselves, and a kind of a failure when things happen to us, like coronavirus, right? It kind of creates the hardship more, not a failure, because we don't fail, just things happen to us, and sometimes we recognize that as a failure, but there is no failure. I didn't fail anything. That what happened to me. It happened, but also it brought a lot of hardship, right? So certain life happens, and life brings a lot of things with it. It can be good, it can be bad, whatever it is, right? But the failure that we are talking here is the failure that comes from trying to or being engaged more with building something better over time. And that's what we thinking about, like training, like learning something new. You go always to unknown, and that unknown is always a hard choice. And whenever it is hard choice, we end up with the situation when it is you have to fail, and the fail is a normal element of improvement, of progress. Now the failure also is something we have this fear of failure, right? And then the fear of failure is that we don't want to fail, so we don't do anything. So that's why I like the love of failure. So we have to love it. So it's kind of a falling in love with failures, and you create those failures in life. And when you have them, you can actually progress. You can fail 10 times, and 11 times you don't fail. And that's how we get better. It's a process of improvement, process of doing something what is a hard choice and creating micro progression. So when the failure happens, when we know all this, it will be easier for us to forgive ourselves that right away, or make peace with it. And so then you fail, okay, I got it, and then it's today, the present moment happens again, and as you renew yourself, you renew everything during that day, and then you again wake up and do your things throughout the day, and during the day you just need to have awareness that you are going through the day to create better you, and that's what you should have all the time, so you don't fall into lack of that awareness of better you, and you will constantly choose easy choices, and you live life of unexamined life that is not worthy of living, what Socrates was talking about. And okay, so if anybody wants to comment on what I said, please.
This is Joyce. Is it okay if I speak? Olivia, would you like to go? Go ahead. Okay. So I think about how a child learns, and how, we don't, we think a lot of times that we teach them to walk, but they crawl, they take the necessary steps, they get up, they fall, they get up, they fall. And unless we as adults interfere in a positive or negative way, they are going to learn to walk. They're going to learn to use their hands in a functional way for their development at the time. And I think it's as we become adults that we begin to attach psychological properties to our unsuccessful attempts. And that's when failure begins to have baggage for us as adults. But kids don't have that baggage. You know, if you look at an infant's development, they really don't have that baggage unless we as adults give that to them in some matter, shape, or form.
Right. They don't have a judgment.
Yeah, exactly. Judgment. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah. Sorry, they
Yeah.
don't interpret at all what happens to them.
Right. Right.
But they don't waste time.
No,
just-
they're
they
just
go-
interested in exploring and learning.
Yeah,
That,
go to
and they're having
another-
fun. They're having fun doing
Yeah, they go to another move.
it. That's right. If we bother them, they leave.
Right. So okay, then let's move to the other say the other response. I think anybody wrote about, oh, Olivia, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, Joyce just reminded me of a really short story that I'll tell. I was looking out the window of my house a couple days ago, and the kids are all out and about, you know, because they can go outside and play, and there's not a whole lot else that they can do now. There's this little boy, he was probably 5, and I saw this man running at breakneck speed toward my house, and then I realized he was running toward his son because his son had fallen off his bicycle. He was trying to learn how to ride the bicycle. So Dad scoops the child up in one arm and scoops the bike up in the other arm and starts trekking back up the hill going to his house. And all I could think was, please put that kid back on the bike. Please put that kid back on the bike, because I did not want the child to be afraid to ride the bicycle anymore, you know? And sure enough, like about 5 minutes later, the kid comes flying back down the hill on the bike. And I just thought, yay, that just made me really happy. So that was the story. And then my comment was, I was just reminded of the sales thing, you know, when you're in sales and you have to deal with rejection all the time. And people say every no brings you one more step closer to yes. So I just try to look at things that way when I fail too. It's like, well, I'm just going to be one step closer to whatever I was trying to do successfully. So that was it.
So in a way, when the failure happens, when we function as people that don't really make any judgment assumption, then the next day happens even though failures were there, but we function like there are no failures at all, right? So that's the forgiveness happens instantly in a way that it's even not necessary, but it just happens because how we are. We are people that simply focus on what is the next thing to do, and what is today. What is today to do? What is my plan? What is how I can do things and I get better because of them. Right? Anybody else wants to say something about I think?
Could I add something? So I think failure generally has a very negative connotation, and I think just to Joyce and Olivia's point also, as adults, and our kids feed into, as a parent now I'm speaking, they feed into our language and our role modeling around that. And I was just introspecting about raising my daughter and how teaching her about grit, like, to ride a bike. She tried 100 times, she fell 100 times, but the 101st time it worked. And that's how we should be gentle with ourselves and say, okay, it didn't work now, it didn't work, the last 20 times I tried it, but that doesn't mean it'll work. It won't work if I try it one more time. I might still get there. It's a fresh start. So like you said, don't, Josie, I think you said that in the second week of hard choices, is that don't bring your yesterday to today, because you come with all that baggage, but try to come with the lessons from that, but not the attitude that you've failed so many times and it's the end of the world. It's still a today, a fresh start. It can be.
So how would you talk to yourself into stop doing the happy body and using failure?
To stop doing it?
Yeah, like how would you talk yourself out of doing the happy body? And what kind of language in your mind you would hear? What kind of voice you would hear to actually connect to the failure? And how would you use the failure actually to stop the happy body and not to do it? To talk yourself out of it.
That it takes too long.
Yeah, exactly. You see, you have boom. The judgment comes, the challenge, and the failure is talking, right? The fatalist is talking. It's too long, right?
Yeah.
And if you come out with something like that, it's too long. It doesn't feel good because you use the word too, right? And something negative, right? I am too old, right? Or it's too long, but it's too long is a good thing. But what about the failure? Like, you fail in something and you think it's not to you, for you, or how would you, you started the happy body and you have some failures and you don't like it. So you sign yourself off, right? You stop. So what kind of failures could that be?
This is Joyce. You're in pain.
All right, in pain. All
Some
right.
people are in pain.
All right, right.
It sounds like rationalizing as well. So you give yourself an excuse or a reason why it wasn't right for you in the first place. Like you're too busy, you don't have enough time, it's not working quick enough, etc., etc.
Yeah, but you need to use the specific, I'm in pain, right? And you need to specific something. So when we use specific, we will be able to map all those things that our brain is using against us. So we stop. So I want specific reasons that you would stop, and because there is certain failure that you experience, or anybody was experienced. So when we analyze those things, that we can be ready for it. Oh, well, I am in pain, and I will talk about that, right? But we need more of those things that would trigger our mind to actually stop doing the happy body. Because of what, right? I am in pain is one. So too long is good.
Too hard. It's
long.
way too hard. It's too hard. I can't do this.
Too hard, right? This is, now we are really putting judgment on the happy body, and we start hating it, disliking it because it's too long, and I'm in pain and gives me pain, and it's too hard. And okay, what are the others?
I don't have time. Sorry, I don't have time, or it's too repetitive.
Okay, there are two things. No, there are two things. So too long, we have it already, right? And too repetitive, so too repetitive, that would be something like boring, right?
Yeah, like too boring.
The results aren't fast enough.
What is it? Oh, results.
Impatience.
Results are not fast enough. All right, that's good.
I'm too tired.
It's lonely.
Too busy.
There's not a class. There's not others.
Lonely. All right, that's good.
I'm not
It's
good
like
enough.
Yanda, what is that you said?
I'm
I
not-
said I'm too tired.
Oh, makes me tired?
No, I am tired. It's late.
No. That's not. It has to be something wrong with the happy body.
Okay, got it.
That you are tired doesn't have to be that you're tired because of the happy body, unless you say that the happy body makes me tired. So
It's still an
do you-
excuse to not
you
do
have
the
to
happy body,
project.
though, right?
Hmm?
It's still an excuse to get out of doing the happy body.
Exactly. You have to use the excuse. You have to use that the happy body is a horrible thing, very bad thing to you. It's too long, it's too hard, repetitive, too long, makes you pain. Horrible thing. I don't want to do that. Why I would do the happy body? It's really not a good thing for me.
The food's too restrictive and I want the second piece of pie.
Food too restrictive. Yeah, that we are coming. See, so we coming.
Let me have the piece of pie.
Well, yeah. Food too restrictive. I want the pie. Yeah. Okay.
I didn't know there was pie.
What?
I didn't know there was pie.
Well,
Exactly. There's no pie. What is wrong
Just
with
have
you?
one piece. Just have one piece,
pie.
not the whole
There's
thing.
no fucking pie. Would you guys stop it?
there is a pie.
No.
All right, move on because we need to really come out with all the excuses we can use.
I'm not getting any better at it.
Oh, no results. I'm not getting better.
Well,
I'm not improving.
Yeah, like I don't feel like I'm doing the exercises any better than I was a week ago.
Let me see. That would be. I don't know if I did them correctly. No, I'm not getting better on it.
Too slow.
Not getting better. All right.
It doesn't work.
Oh, it doesn't work. That's a good one.
Who said that?
It doesn't work. Then that's a pretty good one.
Wait, who said that? Who said that it doesn't work?
Jeannie Kawaji in Los Altos.
Okay, thank you.
Doesn't work. That's a good one. Right. Okay.
All my friends go to the gym, and it's cooler to go to the gym than just to work out on the happy body at home. I need a coach at the gym and be with other people like my friends do.
We had it. We had a lonely.
Oh, okay.
We had lonely already.
Too restrictive because I have to eat at certain times.
We had too restricted, right? Yeah. Yeah, too restrictive. We had something repetitive too restrictive. But what is too restrictive?
Every
I
3
want to
hours.
eat when I.
What?
I just said every 3 hours. I don't know what he meant.
Oh, the 3 hours. All right. 3 hours. Okay. Yeah, we have to be more specific when we say like food is too restrictive. I want the pie, for example. That was because the mind will use specific excuses and then will sign you up, right? Sign you up. All right.
Too
Next one.
restrictive, you can include the calories when the weight, the very strict weight we're supposed to respect during meals, the grams in grams.
Oh, calories. Yeah. So
Calories
not
and
enough
grams.
calories, right?
Calories and grams, not just calories.
Calories and grams.
And
Same
every 3 hours. I mean, it's really difficult to explain that to people.
Yeah, calories in grams that you. So it is a problem with the grams, or it should be ounces, or what is it?
No, it's the fact that initially you have to measure, and depending on your
Oh, I
ideal weight,
see. Yeah.
that's probably bound to be very little, compared to what
Measure.
you would normally do.
Yeah, difficult, right? Tiring. Yeah.
Someone said too complicated, and I think that might sum up some of these.
Too complicated. complicated, right? Okay. What else? How would you sign yourself up? From that,
Risk of added strain. Well, keep in mind I'm injured, so I can't do any happy body right now.
not safe, right? Not safe.
Not safe. That's great.
I'm sorry, I don't want to offend anybody, but I've had friends who are my age say it's only for old people. And I think that was a very bad excuse from them.
That's got to do with image, right? The perception of it.
Yeah, so
Too
what's your
uncool.
I mean, you have to define old. That's so silly. My goodness.
Well, we'll be doing all of it, right? But we have a lot of excuses, right? What else?
Why are we collecting excuses, Jersey?
Well, then you will be able to bring them to awareness. And then when you bring them to awareness in the future, you will be able to see how you actually could stop the happy body. And if there are so many excuses, so your mind, if doesn't like it somewhere and want to take you back to the past, will use one or two or three, and if it doesn't work, to go somewhere else. That's why it's important to talk about these excuses, so you are ready when it happens. You can recognize, oh, I'm thinking about that, it's too hard. Yeah, wow. Okay, what do I do with that? So we start developing the strategies for that, and we start analyzing those things.
I have one. My schedule isn't consistent. I don't have a consistent schedule. I travel. It's hard to slot it in all the time.
So it is hard to adjust schedule, yeah?
It's inconvenient.
Okay. Schedule. All right. That's a good. Okay.
There's no point in doing it unless you can do it perfectly.
Ah, perfectionist.
That's a really good one. Sorry, I had to interrupt. That's really good, Simon.
Like a pianist.
Or
No
a trombone
shit.
player.
That's
or
really
what
good.
did you
Because
say?
if you can't do it perfectly, why the hell try? So it's a really good for someone like me who's been trained, to be a perfectionist. That's a really good one. Thank you, Simon.
Simon. Okay, that's a good one. All right, anything else?
Yeah. How about it's a bit antisocial because go try to explain to your friends
We
you have
had
to
it.
eat every 3 hours.
What is it?
A bit antisocial because it's not easy to explain to your friends or your family you have to eat every 3 hours.
We have the 3 hours though.
Okay.
So we
I want to, may I speak? Sophia, that's so great because it is antisocial on some level. How do you explain to people, oh, can you have dinner at 6? No, I can only have dinner at 7:30. Like, it's just like really antisocial. Sorry,
Okay.
I'm going to really direct.
So you don't know the happy body really, because let me address the 3 hours, right? You don't know the happy body. That's why you came out with such a thing. So the happy body has movements and using 1/3 of the snack to push the time. So whenever you need to, you push the time forward. Or let's say your dinner is at 6 o'clock, but it's going to be at 7. So what should you do? Then you eat only 1/3 of the snack. You can have your bars. You can cut your bar into 3, and then you use those snack according to movement of time. So there is complete flexibility when it comes to time in the happy body.
So let's say you're invited for dinner in Paris at 7:30. I'm not going to eat 1/3 of what the dinner is. I'm sorry, Jersey, I'm not. It's not.
You didn't understand me.
No, okay, please repeat.
So when you have the 7:30 dinner, then your 4:30 is the snack. And if your snack is at 6 o'clock, from 6 o'clock to 7:30, you have 1 hour and a half. You use you use only half of the snack for 1 hour and a half to be ready for 7:30. So there is a a perfect manipulation of snacks and time and control. So everybody understands this?
No,
I understand.
Yes.
So you don't, you see, if you understand that there is complete freedom when it comes to the happy body and eating on time and moving your time whenever you want, then you cannot use it anymore to sign yourself up. And that is, in the knowledge of that, is already there in the happy body. But somehow it's missed, sometimes, and you're missing that, and then you think about the rigidity of the system, and then you don't see that the system is not rigid here at all.
Okay, I understand the math, but it's almost impossible to explain to people. I'm just going to tell you bluntly.
You don't explain to people at all.
Right. So that's what your wife told me, and I was like, well, that's very nice, but I explain everything to people. So how am I supposed to keep that private? It's weird. I mean, okay, no, I mean, it's just, I don't understand how to communicate with my friends and colleagues that I can only eat 2/3 at this time and 1/3 at this. I don't want to get into that. I just want to communicate and be with them and not have like a long list of excuses of why I can't eat with them.
Well, why you cannot eat with them? I don't understand. You see, you are creating a rejection. You are creating some ideas that you cannot eat with them. So where is it coming from?
I'm not creating rejections. I can't be doing math with my food.
No, why you cannot eat with them? I don't understand.
No, because, okay, let's say they want to eat at 10:30 after a concert. How do I explain that I'm doing math with my food? It's like, and your wife told me, well, don't share it with them. And that's very easy to say, but it's harder to do. That's all.
What's the problem with eating at 10:30 p.m.?
Maybe it's not my 3-hour slot.
So you make it. You are the master. You are in the driving seat here when you set up your timing and when you want to eat or what you want to eat. You have complete freedom when in the happy body to do that.
Okay, conceptually, I understand, but it's almost impossible on a social level because you can't just say, okay, I can eat.
Still, your fatalist is in your mind, and fatalist is talking. So you need to be aware that fatalist, that whatever the language you are using, it is a fatalistic language. You are not for how would I do that?
That's what I'd like to hear. How would you do that?
Well, it's very simple. If you want to eat 10:30 dinner, right? So you know that day in the morning, right? Right?
Okay, yes, got it.
So 10:30 is your dinner. Then 7:30 is your snack, and 4:30 is your another snack, and then you go back 1:30 is your lunch, and 10:30 is your first snack. It's done.
Can I ask a question? Is this about having a perfect schedule and you're having trouble with the preset perfect schedule in your mind and then reconciling it with your day-to-day life with your friends, Eliane?
Yeah, with your social obligations, which are often very flowing and not always predetermined. You can't just decide what time everybody's going to eat after a concert. You can't decide. And it's uncomfortable. I mean, I don't think it's appropriate to share your whole schedule with everybody.
Well, that's the whole thing. Let's say the concert ended at 10 and you have some kind of thing with friends and you're not going to eat, you probably will be eating at 12, right? So what you need to do, you have to have this emergency little snack. That is the 1/3. And you have some water or wine, or you use your wine as your snack, and you drink a little bit wine, and this is your snack. It will take you, another 1 hour. You deliver simply the energy into your body to have it for another 1 hour or 2 hours, something like that.
Okay, well, that's a huge help because I didn't know that wine was a snack.
What is it?
I didn't know that wine was a snack. That's
Yeah,
a big.
it is food. It is not a snack, but it is food.
No, I understand.
You cannot look at wine as not food. Everything is food. Everything what is calories is food. A glass of wine can be 150 calories. It's a snack for 3 hours. And if you want to, let's say 10:30, you have a dinner, you have to think. You have to examine your life, right? So if you have 10:30 and then you're not going to have it, you are drinking half a glass of wine, then you have a perfect snack for until 12.
So I have no problem with all these ideas. I have a problem with sharing those ideas socially because they are
the way if you want to share.
antisocial.
But
It's
that cannot be used against. You see, if you want to share this with others, you share. If you don't want to share, you don't share. But if you want to come up with a great idea to share, you say, well, I'm a pianist, so I want to, with the food, I am the same way. And I want to deliver food like playing a musical instrument. At certain time, certain amount of food supposed to be, and I'm delivering. So my metabolic rate is the highest as possible throughout the day. So I'm a scientist, so I think about these things. That's it. Somebody likes it, good. Somebody doesn't like, good.
Okay, I'm going to hire you to come along with me and explain these to everybody.
Jersey, this is Margaret in Park City, and I think this discussion has been a beautiful illustration of fatalist versus master, right? And some people, it's the concert schedule. Some it's their professional business travel. I used to travel 70% of my time. And as Eliane was saying things about her schedule, I kept thinking, oh my gosh, this was so much of what my reasoning was why I didn't take care of myself. And the bottom line is the happy body has the variables in it to align the mastery to how to do your life. Okay, it just does. We may have to figure them out, but we can come up with any number of excuses when our fatalist is screaming in our ear. And it really is about developing the mastery of your own life.
I will read you the poem before. It doesn't work really. There is the title of the poem in the book. It doesn't work. I was always I always thought about this. It doesn't work, and I heard it so many times in my life. It doesn't work, and I was just thinking, what is wrong with that saying, right? And then finally, I wrote a poem about that, and let me find out where that it doesn't work is. So, it was like 80s or 90s. They say, yeah, I know, but it doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for you. Oh, swimming doesn't work for you? Or, basketball doesn't work for you? The basketball actually doesn't work for you? So it's like we are so weird about how we use it doesn't work. It doesn't work for me. It's like we want to, it's a complete fatalist talking. And we don't see it that it is a fatalist talking, wants to sign off, right? Go away from what needs to be done.
So it works for me. That's not the point. The point is how to explain or not explain or be discreet or be, I mean, I don't care. You know, I belong to my audience on some level. I've been playing since I'm 5 years old on stage. So how do I just kind of like negotiate this whole thing? And it works for me. That's not a problem. That's not the issue. It works for me.
Leanne?
You will find a way. Because you have a different, Amy, you want to say something?
I'm also an actor with an audience, and everything Jersey said about not giving yourself to them, it sounds like the issue is not the happy body. The issue is you feeling you belong to them. You do not.
I don't feel that I belong to them. I do belong to them. It's that simple. I don't feel that way.
Well,
I
that's
belong-
the choice you
I
made.
have-
Therefore,
no.
their interests will come before yours at all costs.
No, not their interest, but I belong to them in the sense that I've been giving to them for 60 years. I mean, no, it's just, no, it's not.
This is not an issue with the happy body. This is an issue with your identity.
Absolutely. On the other hand, I hope you hear me. On the other hand, of course, I belong to them. Anyway, I'm sorry if I sound really difficult, everybody.
I know, but so if you belong them, you,
of course,
you depend on them.
Of course,
you are.
Of course, it's a communicative art. Of course.
I think it's a good point because you may feel that way about your audience, but we all feel that way either with work or our spouses or our children, or I don't know. So we all probably have a version of that in some form or another. Maybe it's not, well, maybe it is financially dependent. I don't know. But I think you bring up a really good point.
So where is the independence here?
That's right. That's why I'm here, Jersey.
Yeah. Is it independence more important than dependency?
So, you know, so many of everything that you speak about is so inherent in the striving of my work, which is, you know, we love our mistakes, we love our failures, we become friends with our failures. We have absolutely, you know, always delaying of self-gratification, all this stuff. But the problem is it's not an inside job. When you're a performer, it is not an inside job. I don't care what anybody says. If you've been performing since the age of 5 years old, like I have, it is not an inside job. So it's really difficult to turn that into an inside job and then to feel comfortable with folks when you go out after a concert and stuff, to say, oh, I can only have 3/4 of my portion of this and that because, you know, I had my other fourth at 5. I mean, and your wife told me 100 times, don't share that with everybody. And she's right. But on the other hand, I have almost been disciplined to share everything with everybody. That's just God, this is becoming my personal session. So I'm just going to like disappear for a while. I'm so embarrassed.
Well, you know, like somebody said.
I'm sorry.
Excuse me, Janice.
Well, you have another master choice, the choice that you don't have to eat at all until 10:30, and then you eat only one time and you just eat as much as you want.
I have a question. What about belonging to yourself inside so that you can give of yourself without losing yourself?
Isn't that beautiful and easier said than done?
I think, in my opinion, it's the only beginning of how to live life, is to belong to yourself first so that you can have something to give to others. And I'm not a performer, so I don't know, but that's just my way of looking at it.
Is it a virtue to belong to others?
Well, I understand that loving and being with others is a virtue. I agree with you. But if I don't have a self, I can't give it to anybody else. And
okay, but some people become themselves by giving to others. And if you're trained in a certain way, Janice,
if
I don't
you're
know.
trained, well, we are trained in many ways that, are not good for us, right?
Of course, it's a beautiful idea, Janice. Thank you. But
You're welcome.
many of us are not trained to belong to ourselves first.
All right,
Yes.
let's get into the poem.
Could I, Jersey, just do you think like there's the sense of validation? I don't know, as a performing artist, I don't know if we all have it on some level, like Joyce was saying, that we need that external validation to make ourselves whole.
Well, it's a problem with expectations. So Elaine has really strong expectations and belonging and setting control of how others, what others are thinking, what others are saying, and so on. So it's expectation problem. I don't have expectation. I have zero expectation when it comes to what I do, and zero expectation to what people think and what people say. Zero. I focus on what I do, and that's all there is. I focus on my art, I focus on poems, and whatever the people think about those poems, it's not up to me. That's what people, that's people's problem. That's my problem, right? So expectation is not in my brain at all.
Did you, were you like that when you were much younger, or
No.
did you develop into this person?
I developed that throughout my life, and probably about maybe 20 years ago.
Okay.
I think that it was a lot American help in America. Living in America helped me a lot to create in me this focus on independence and what I do, and focus more on that and not focus on other people. Wayne Dyer helped a lot, and he was I remember when his story, don't go to other people's gardens and pull the weeds out, because your neighbor maybe likes it that way, right? So you will create some problems for yourself because of it. So there are the expectations and the interactions with people sometimes that people want to control other people, or they want to control results. But you cannot control results really, and you cannot control what people are talking about. But you can control yourself. You can control what you do. And I think the Stoics idea here is perfect. That you have to really control your responses and let the world go. You cannot control the world, but you cannot control another person. You can control a lot of things about yourself. Your response is all you got, and what you do, you got that too, right? So if you focus on your art, if you focus on the performance and let things go, then it's a lot of easier to live life, because you don't have this luggage of thinking about what people are thinking. That for athletes is the energy goes down. So if you, let's say, perform, because Olympic weightlifting competition is performance, and it's very intense performance because you are there only for seconds, and you come out, and even in the brain, very little, the message comes into your brain, that maybe you will not make it, or if you don't make it, what people will think. Well, that's it. That's 3% of energy down. It can drain your energy, and you will not make it live. So you really have to come on the stage and be completely out of the audience and everyone else, and then connected to what you're going to do. And
Okay.
that has to be your focus only.
This is Joyce. Jersey, did you have a failure in your weightlifting, and can you talk to us about how you dealt with it? Or
you mean what kind of failure?
I don't know. You had a weightlifting competition and you didn't
Yes,
perform as you had
I missed a lot. I was interesting the interesting was competition in Baltimore. I was attempting the world record, and that was actually interesting here to say. So so I came up and I lifted, I snatched the whole thing, and I was in the sitting position, holding the bar up, and it was a world record. It was my first world record, and I had it. You know, when you are in this position, then there is also only to stand up, and it's very easy to do. So when I was sitting and was holding, I knew I had that record. And in my mind, I smiled to myself. You know, I smiled, I was happy, you know, I expressed happiness. But when I did that, I lost control over the bar. And the bar, I didn't know that the bar was traveling slightly horizontally backward. And before I was sensitive enough to catch that and correct that, I was too late. I dropped the bar back.
Wow.
Okay, now that was it. You know, I couldn't attack again until the next year. So how you deal with it? It's just a normal thing. You don't make a big fuss about it. Well, it's a part of living as a weightlifter, I guess, or a person, right, in life. But that's the loss of focus. You see, I lost the focus because I was happy. And because I was happy, I lost the focus on what I was doing there. So I didn't stay with what I was doing. And because of that, I was drained. And I lost it. I lost the control. And I lost it.
And how did you feel afterwards?
Well, afterwards, you you laugh at that. I was laughing at myself. How funny it is! How could I do that? But you have to laugh at yourself. You know, it's like athletes. I think they're very healthy. They laugh at themselves. All right, I have this poem. Actually, the title is "Everything Works." Elaine, it will work for you too. It works, right? All right, so everything works. One day my friend told me, it doesn't work. Is there anything in life that doesn't work? I answered. He looked at me, smiling. There are many things that don't work. For example, I'm trying to lose weight, but it doesn't work. What happens? I asked. I get stuck, my friend. Then you know, I told him. What do you know? Being stuck works. My friend laughed and said, it's so easy to miss. You see, everything what we do works. What works for you, right? Whatever we do, whatever the results are, it works that way. So if somebody is getting angry, it works. The anger works. It's working that way. If somebody, is becoming a good person, it works that way. Everything works. So saying it doesn't work, it doesn't have any sense. It's not logical. Anybody wants to say something about this?
I like that thought. I like what you just said.
So how you create your life and what you look at yourself, it works that way. If you created, pain in your life, so it works that way. If you created, inflexibility, weaknesses, and so on, it works that way. You actually created that. It happened, right? So if you want it works differently, you have to do certain things that create different results. Einstein said, it's insanity is to keep doing the same thing and expect different results. That's exactly what we are talking here, right? It doesn't work. Right? It doesn't. It works. It's just you don't like it. That it works that way. Right? All right. I will give you guys. Now you can chat. 10 minutes. I will go and have some tea with Vanya.
Hi, everybody. It's Janice. I've been doing this since the beginning, and I wasn't exercising, and now I'm not doing it perfectly, but I'm doing it, and I'm doing very light weights, and I'm also losing weight, which is amazing. So it's Happy Body's working for me.
Hey, Simon, if you can hear us, can you mute your iPhone? You keep coming up in the chat because you're not muted. Janice, that's awesome. That is really, really exciting.
Thanks. Thank you. I'm joyful about it.
I bet. It's a good feeling.
A lot of soup. Janice, are you doing the 3 hours?
I'm not. I haven't gotten to the scientific part of the food really. I'm making vegetable soups. I made the bars. I'm just comfortably being careful. It's not that I don't eat anything. Like the other day I had Cheez-Its. I don't know. I don't think that's part of the program, but I'm just aware of eating more vegetables, some protein and fruit, I can't believe I'm getting myself in that room to exercise. I have no self-discipline, and I love chocolate. So,
Chocolate can be a snack.
Janice, you're just the best. You're so funny.
Thank you. Thank you. And I empathize with your situation. But we'll get there. We'll all get there.
I've explained myself well, but I'm sorry to be so difficult. Sorry.
Maybe we all have something to learn from you.
I have a mom who brings $40 bottles of wine to my house and expects me to drink them with her. But now I know wine is a snack. So who knew?
Yeah.
That's lovely. Thank you, Olivia.
Just have that one glass that lasts all afternoon, like Jersey does with the vodka and tonics.
Is it really vodka and tonic all afternoon? Are you kidding?
No. He said that at one time. I think so. I mean, I hope I didn't dream that. But and he has water and vodka, and he just has the one drink.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Does someone else remember that?
That's
Yeah.
lovely. Thank you.
He goes to a restaurant and he has vodka and he puts water in it, right? And then he drinks it down and he puts more water in it. And he drinks it down and he puts more water in it. So he doesn't
Okay,
put more vodka. Okay.
Who's talking right now?
Oh, I'm
That's a
Jeannie.
great idea. Who's talking?
Yeah, Jeannie Kawaji, and I live in Los Altos, so California. So nice to hear you all. Thank you.
Okay, so wait, it's vodka with water? That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Put ice in fizzy water, right? And then he sips it slowly, and then he always refills it with more water. So it retains the vodka taste, I guess.
That's hilarious. I think I'll try that. That's
Great
wonderful.
idea. May I ask, what poem was he just reading? Do you guys have the books of his? Do you remember?
I got this. I think.
Yeah.
Which book was he reading from for that last poem?
I got this. That's what.
Oh, it is from. Okay, got it. Thank you. I got it too. Thank you. Right. Thank you very much, Jan.
You guys, I need to share something, and I'd like to turn around and show you. I was supposed to send butterflies to my grandchildren, and they're these little tiny black things, and they couldn't be sent because they're at a Phoenix and they would dry. I'm growing butterflies in my house. And when I get my iPad back, I'll turn it around and show you. And it's amazing. They're coming out of their cocoons and turning into butterflies. In the next couple of days, I'll let them free. It's really delightful.
That's so wonderful.
It is. Yeah. I'll show you when I get my iPad back.
Thank you for telling us. That's just such a lovely idea.
I used to get them at Passover and let them free at Passover with my kids.
So when I unmute myself often, it's just a giggle because I want to respond to you guys. I don't mean to be invasive or interruptive. I just want to laugh and giggle because you guys are so great. Like Janice just told us that she's going to show us her butterflies. It's hilarious. It's so lovely.
Yeah. Maybe I can show you now. I don't know. I think you have to flip it. And I don't know how to do that.
You don't have to, it's just you're making our day. Thank you, Janice.
You're
The
welcome.
film is at the end of chapter 4, and I got this.
That's where the was. End of chapter 4. Okay, thank you.
Sanjam, I can see you laughing and I can't hear you and it's hilarious. Thank you for your beautiful, you guys all see Sanjam? She's laughing so beautifully. Look at her.
I wanted to share something on how to get the books. Is anybody having trouble buying all the books, or a lot of the,
I'm in Paris. So.
You're in Paris, so a lot of them are available on Kindle Unlimited on your Amazon, and there's a subscription that's about $10 a month, but it's free for 2 months. So personally, I know I'm gonna sign off the subscription before the 2nd month, and a lot of the books, not all of them, but a lot of them are available through Kindle Unlimited. So you can see them right now. Like today, you can have.
Tracy said he wants to remove them from Kindle Unlimited.
Why?
In
Well,
another
then
session, because he wants to get paid for it.
Well,
really? That's weird. Thank
Yeah.
you, Sophia. What do you mean, Marcin?
So I was wondering about the Happy Body 2nd edition, because I was going to purchase it for my children. And the 1st edition, the green one that I have, is like quite expensive. And the 2nd edition is yellow. And I wondered if anyone has the 2nd edition. And
I ordered it. It's the
Yeah, me too. My 2nd edition is arriving tomorrow and it's completely different. So yeah. Go ahead, Janice, explain.
I ordered the paperback version because I have the hardcover from years ago. And I don't remember what it cost, but it did come, and it's not yellow. It's green. That doesn't really matter.
The green one is the old one and the yellow one is the new one, you guys.
I know it shows yellow on Amazon, but it didn't come yellow.
This came up in a previous session, and it's like Amazon is almost purging existing stock before the new stock gets pushed through, because he was asking someone what was on X page of the 2nd edition, and it wasn't what was supposed to be on the 2nd edition, even though everyone thought it was the 2nd edition. Remember?
Yeah, I do.
And the
Thank you,
2nd
Margaret.
edition is the yellow one.
To
Thank
what?
you, Margaret.
It's supposed to be the yellow one, but that's what Josie was saying, that some of the 2nd edition prints actually still have the 1st edition content. So they,
I think
even
we
though
need
they
to
had
ask
the
him
cover.
maybe.
So this
Yeah,
is the
so-
2nd edition, and it's green. I bought it last May. And
Paper,
it's-
right?
Well,
it's-
same with me.
Yeah.
I bought mine last spring as well, and mine's green. But if you go on Amazon, I just went on before logging into this meeting. The 2nd edition is yellow,
That's
and
right.
it's different.
Completely.
it
Don't
appears
go
to
for
be.
the cover. Check the year of publication. That's what you want to go with. The year of publication. not
Yeah,
the
yeah,
color.
yeah.
It's 2015.
Thank you, Sophia, and yeah, for all these updates.
Also, Sophia, I know you mentioned the Kindle Unlimited, and the only thing is, if you stop your subscription, you don't have the books anymore.
I realize that, but I also
Yeah.
realize, you know, it's I'm paying money every week for the course,
Right.
and
Yeah.
that's just too much to get all the books.
Right.
In,
And you can see
all
which
together.
ones really speak to you and buy those if you need to.
Otherwise, I can't do the homework.
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
I don't really know how to raise my hand. I don't know how to not disrupt.
Go in your chat. Go into your chat and see if
I
there's any.
did. So there's no raising hand, honey bun.
Yeah, there is.
No, where?
It's just above the word chat. It says to the left, invite, mute me, and raise hand.
No, it doesn't. Sorry.
Oh, that's weird.
So that's only on an iPad.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, Mac
So
does.
I'm on a
I'm
computer.
on a Mac as well, and
Me
it
too.
doesn't have that.
Oh.
And I don't mean to be rude or invasive. I'm just like, oh Jesus, how do I like be polite and not crosstalk? I don't know how to do it. There's no option here except to say, hello, may I speak? And that's weird. I mean, I don't know.
It is weird, but we've been, a lot of the times when we want to acknowledge what someone has said and thank them for their share, we put it in the chat as opposed to the verbal expression of it. Just because there have been times when there have been over 50 people in the call, and it turns into a cluster. Because we all want to acknowledge how great everyone is, how their participation is, right?
So I found it. You go under participant, right? Everybody on your PC, you go under participant, and then all the way at the bottom, you have invite, mute me, raise hand. Okay?
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, that's perfect. Thank you. Who just said that? That was great. Who said that?
Me, Sophia.
Oh, okay. My goodness. You're just like a godsend. Thank you. I got it. Raise hand. Thank you. I got it. I just raised my hand. All right. Bye. And I'm going to lower my hand. Thank you.
All right. Did you have a good talk? Awesome. Okay. So it is not what really happens to us, but how we deal with it is the most important. The strategy is important, right? So Elaine came with this impossibility of sharing with audience or people that she knows what is she doing, and she has the need to actually share that, and that creates problems. So I want you to think about today, the whole day, about how would you talk to your audience, your friends, whoever they are, right, and share with them what you do. How would you do that? So that would be a strategy to deal with this situation, right?
Can you repeat that, Jersey? I don't know if it's my internet, but I did not hear you how you finished that sentence.
So we need a strategy for Elaine because she has the need to share what she does with her friends, and that creates problems. So how would you share or not to share? What is the solution here? What is the strategy of the master? How the master would deal with it?
And you want us to do this as part of our homework?
Yes, not only, but they're one of the facts, right? So you think about all kind of strategies, you would come out if you were Elaine and you would actually deal with it. What would you do? How would you come out of it? How would you, maybe you can come out with a solution for that situation.
Thank you. I really am, I don't understand how to share, and
Yeah. Well, maybe people will come out with the ways how to help you to share, and in what way, and how to deal with it. And then
Okay, cool.
we'll see. We'll talk about this tomorrow. And for you, the homework is chapter 9, right? We have chapter 9. From I Got This, that will be the mastery. Here we are. Okay. The mastery is coming. And from the Happy Body Virtues, you will write from the perspective of I feel. So how does it feel when you think about the failure needs forgiveness? How does it feel, that situation? How do you feel when you feel? What you feel? So you have to really meditate on that for a while so you get into the feeling.